So this semester, our subject will be government accounting. So we will talk all about government accounting. So dito, malalaman natin na may, may sarili palang accounting na ginagamit yung government natin. So dito, malalaman din natin kung ano yung kaibahan ba ng government accounting sa accounting for business entities or private sectors. So malalaman din natin yan as we go along. So to start, let's have an overview muna about government accounting. So, ano ba yung definition ng government accounting? So, based sa State Audit Code of the Philippines, Presidential Decree number 1445, Section 109, so, dinefine nila yung government accounting as it encompasses the processes of analyzing, recording, classifying, summarizing, and communicating all transactions involving the receipts and disposition of government funds and property, interpreting the results thereof. So, bago tayo mag-proceed, let's define first yung accounting. So, ito yung accounting na ginagamit for business entities. So, based sa mga book nga, it defines accounting as the art of recording, classifying, and summarizing in a significant manner and in terms of money, transactions, and events which are in part at least of a financial character and interpreting the results thereof. So, mapapansin natin, halos same lang naman sila ng meaning, di ba? But they both record, classify, and summarize transactions, and they both interpret the results thereof. So, ano ba yung difference? So, ano ba iba ng government accounting sa accounting mismo? So, yung ititingnan natin yung definition ng government accounting, sabi, it record, classify, summarize, and communicate all transactions involving the receipt and disposition of government funds and property. So, meaning, sa government accounting, parang ang unique identifier niya is it involves all the receipt and disposition of government funds and property. So, based sa dalawang meaning nito, we can infer na same lang naman yung government accounting sa accounting mismo. Pero sa government accounting, it emphasizes more or it focuses more on two things. So, yung dalawa na to is first, it focuses on sources and utilization of government funds. And second, it involves, parang napakita dito yung responsibility, accountability, and liability of entities entrusted with government funds and properties. So, punta naman tayo sa first bullet. So, ano ba yung sources and utilization ng government funds? So, yung sources is, yung book, nagbigay siya ng tatlong sources ng government funds. So, first is receipt from taxes and other fees. Second, borrowings. Third, grants from other governments and international bodies. And yung disbursement naman is it involves expenditures on programs, projects, and unanticipated losses from calamities and the like. So, punta tayo sa sources. So, yung first source na indicate is receipt from taxes and other fees. Remember, sa income taxation nyo, sinabi na taxes are the lifeblood of the government. Sinabi din sa lifeblood doctrine na si government daw, if wala siyang malilikom na revenue from taxes, hindi magsusurvive yung government. So, kaya di magsusurvive yung government kasi nga, yung taxes, ito yung parang primary source ng government funds natin. So, ano naman yung other fees na tinutukoy dito? So, yung other fees, dito papasok yung mga contributions na binabayad ng mga employees, di ba? Yung contribution, sana both employees and employer. So, ito yung contributions na binibigay sa SSS, PhilHealth, at pag-ibig. So, these contributions will be are also considered as source of government funds. Next, ma'am, question. Enough po ba yung taxes and yung mga other fees na to para tawag doon, para ma-implement yung mga programs or projects ng government natin? The answer is no. Kaya, if hindi enough yung taxes and yung other fees, dito papasok si borrowings. So, sa borrowings, ang mangyayari lang naman, if yan, hindi nga enough yung taxes para ma-finance yung isang project o isang program, ang gagawin ni government is mangungutang siya sa iba't ibang entities. So, di ba, last year, mapapansin niyo yung mga news article, di ba, sinabi doon na sinabi na hindi daw enough yung budget natin. So, ang ginawa nila, nangutang sila. So, maraming news article last year na umutang yung government natin sa iba't ibang entities. Yung isang example nga doon is may na-approve na loan from ADB amounting approximately 600 million ata. Sa pagkakaalala ko. Sa ganong range na parang nagpautang si ADB ng parang approximately 600 million sa government natin. Kasi nga, para nga ma-finance yung mga projects or programs na ina-address yung pandemic last year. Next na sources naman is yung grants from other governments and international bodies. So, ano ba yung grants? So, yung grants, ito yung transfer of resources to an entity by government in return for past or future compliance with certain conditions relating to operating activities of the entity. So, in short, yung mga entity na nagbibigay ng resources sa atin without expecting a return. So, ano siya? Donation. So, ang gusto lang naman nila is to gamitin yung binigay nilang pera for specific purpose. So, parang, kunyari, si entity A, parang nagbigay sila ng certain amount of money kay government and sinabi na, itong pera na to, gagamitin nyo lang to for this specific purpose. So, donation siya, pero parang naka-set aside na siya for a certain purpose. Ganun. So, sa disbursement nga, yung mga, di ba may mga, yung mga government, kung mabalitaan niyo yung mga programs or projects na ini-implement ng mga government agency, yun na yung parang disbursement o yung utilization ng government funds. Next, ano ba yung objectives ng government accounting? So, objectives ng government accounting is first, to provide information concerning past operations and past conditions. Second objective naman is to provide a basis for guidance for future operations. Third objective is to provide for control of the acts of public bodies and officers in the receipt, disposition, and utilization of funds and property. And yung pang-apat na objective ng government accounting is to report on the financial position and the results of operations of government agencies for the information of all persons concerned. So, next naman, diba nga sabi ko kanina, government accounting, same lang siya sa accounting. Pero, mas ine-emphasize na lang or mas nakapokus lang siya sa dalawang bagay. First is yung sources and utilization of government funds. And second is yung responsibility, accountability, and liability of entities entrusted with government funds and properties. So, punta tayo sa responsibility over government funds and properties. Kung sabi, government resources should be utilized efficiently and effectively in accordance with the law. So, ano ba yung law na sinasabi dito? So, itong law na to is ito yung budget na parang ina-aprobahan ng presidente natin. So, every year, ipaprocess ng lower and upper house natin yung budget, then ipapa-approve nila yun sa president. Once na ma-approve na yun, then it will become a law. So, mas i-elaborate natin yung budget process sa pag pumunta tayo sa chapter 2 ng subject na to. So, di ba nga, okay, so di ba pag na-approve na uh, yung budget, so yung pag na-approve na yung budget, it will become a law. And once na naging law na siya, parang ito na yung mag-trigger sa mga government agency na pwede na nilang gamitin yung yung government funds or resources na allocated sa agency nila para ma-implement yung project or programs na sinet nila. Pero syempre, note ko lang, di ba, merong silang government, diba, may naka-allocate na government resources or funds sa kanila. So, once na ma-approve na yun, pwede na lang gamitin. Pero syempre, kailangan na lang gamitin yun in accordance with the law pa rin. Kasi nakalagay din sa law kung saan gagamitin yung allocated na government funds sa agency nila. So, if kunwari, ginamit nila yung government resources or funds sa isang transaction na hindi naman naka-indicate dun sa law, then it will be considered as an illegal transaction. So, kailangan gagamitin lang nila yon gamitin lang nila yung funds, yung government funds sa mga transactions na naka-indicate sa batas. Tapos, next, sabi, the head of a government agency is directly responsible in implementing this policy and is primarily responsible for government resources entrusted to his agency. So, di ba, for example, may nawawalang resources or may nawawalang pa sa isang agency. So, ang primarily liable na yun is si head ng agency. Kasi nga, siya yung parang siya nga yung may primary responsible na i-safekeep yung government resources or funds na yun. Tapos, head of government agency, siya din yung may directly responsible sa pag-implement ng policy. So, ano yung policy? So, yung policy is yung government resources should be utilized efficiently and effectively in accordance with the law. So, ma'am, di ba sabi niyo nga kanina, si head of government agency, yung may primarily responsible sa government resources. So, if may mawawala, siya magiging liable doon. Eh, ma'am, what if naman, kunyari si employee lang naman ng agency yung nakawala or nagnakaw ng government resources. So, syempre, if si employee yung nakawala, siya yung parang siya yung liable doon. So, parang, kasi, lalo na kung sa specific employee na yun, naka-interest yung government resources or funds. So, ma'am, paano pag kunwari, tumakas si employee, parang umalis siya. So, yan, napalay layo after magnakaw. So, sino magiging liable doon? Siyempre, set of government agency. Kasi nga, lalo kung di nga mahanap ng nawawalang employee, di ba? So, kahit anong mangyari, si head of government agency pa rin yung parang pinaka-liable doon. Pero siyempre, yung specific employee na yon, responsible siya ni head of government agency. So, parang liable si specific employee kay head of government agency. So, next, sabi, all those who are exercising authority over a government agency shall share fiscal responsibility. So, ano ba yung concept ng fiscal responsibility? So, ito lang naman yung ability to balance between government spending and tax. So, bale, ito yung obligation ng government na ma-maximize yung income by using their spending powers. So, next is yung accountability over government funds and properties. So, sabi, a government officer entrusted with the possession of government resources is responsible for the safekeeping therefore in accordance with the law. So, sabi ko nga kanina, kung sino yung officer or employee na naka-entrust for specific funds or resources, siya din yung may responsible na i-safekeep or ingatan yung specific resources na yun. Kasi if ever may mawawala nga doon or may mangyari doon, siya yung liable. Next, the transfer of government funds from one officer to another shall, except as allowed by law, be made only after the authorization of the COA. So, unless allowed by the law, yung transfer ng government funds from one agency to another agency is not allowed unless i-authorize siya ni COA. So, ginagawa nga to para as a control na rin para nga maiwasan yung corruption or yung nanakawin yung government funds. So, remember, hindi pwede mag-transfer ng government funds to isang agency to another agency unless allow siya ng law and unless may approval siya or inauthorize siya ng COA. Next, liability over government funds and property. So, the unlawful use of government resources should be the personal liability of the employee found to be directly responsible therefore. Sabi ko nga kanina, di ba, yung government resources, dapat gagamitin na siya based dun sa sinabi ng batas. So, if si employee, ginamit niya yun, isang transaction na hindi naman naka-indicate or hindi siya naka-indicate or hindi siya naka-base sa law, then it will be considered as unlawful use or an illegal transaction. So, dahil po yan, napanggastos niya, pinambili niya ng isang property, pero hindi naman siya naka-indicate sa law. So, yung pera na pinanggastos doon is personal liability ng employee na yun. O yung employee na naka-entrust sa specific na funds or resources. Next, every accountable officer shall be liable for all losses resulting from the unlawful use or negligence in the safekeeping of government resources. Diba nga, sabi ko kanina, sa accountability, yung officer na naka-entrust sa government resources is siya din may responsible na i-safekeep yun. So, if ever may mangyaring masama doon, mawala yun, or manakaw yun, yung officer na yun, siya yung parang magiging liable dun sa nawawala or nanakaw na resources or funds. Next, no accountable officer should be relieved from liability merely because he has acted under the direction of a superior office in unlawfully utilizing the government resources entrusted to him. So, yung officer na ginamit yung resources parang yung funds na ginamit for unlawful use. So, hindi pwedeng sabihin ni officer na, ay, napag-utusan lang po kasi ako ng supervisor ko. Or parang, sinabihan po kasi ako ng manager o ng supervisor ko na bumili ng ganito or gamitin sa ganito. So, kahit sabihin yun ni accountable officer, hindi siya marirelieve sa liability. Kasi nga, sabi nga kanina, sa lahat, yung officer na ginamit yung funds or resources unlawful use as personal liability dun sa ginamit na resources or funds. So, kahit sabihin na pag-utusan siya, still liable pa rin siya. Kasi nga, siyempre, if i-allow nila to, de lahat na lang, siyempre, ako si officer. Kahit hindi naman ako sinabihan ng officer ko, or ng supervisor ko na gamitin yun. Pwede kong gamitin yung rason na yun na, ay, napag-utusan lang po ako para di ako maging liable. So, para, yun, para di rin ma-motivate yung officer na interest, yung officer na naka-interest yung government resources and funds, para hindi siya ma-motivate na gamitin niya sa iba, 'di ba? So, ano siya, parang nakatatak sa kanya na kailangan taga niyang gamitin, kailangan niya tagang ingatan yung government resources or funds. Kasi ito yung mangyayari masama doon, parang personal liability ko yun. Liable ako doon. So, hindi ako marirelieve kahit ba sabihin na inutusan lang ako. So, dapat, gagamitin ko lang siya in accordance with the law. So, next, an accountable officer shall immediately notify the COA for any loss of government funds from unforeseen events within 30 days. So, si accountable officer, if ever nga may mangyari sa resources or funds due to unforeseen events, then kailangan niya i-notify agad si COA within 30 days. Para alam ni COA na may nawawala ng funds dahil sa unforeseen events. Next. So, merong mga offices charged with government accounting responsibility. So, 4 na offices yon. So, first is yung Commission on Audit. Second is Department of Budget and Management. Third is Bureau of Treasury. And last is yung mga government agencies. So, first, punta tayo sa Commission on Audit or COA. So, ano ba yung responsibilities ni COA? So, si COA, so meron silang responsible or they have the responsibility to promulgate accounting and auditing rules and regulations. So, yung constitution natin, binigyan ng exclusive right or exclusive authority si COA mag-promulgate ng accounting and auditing rules and regulations. So, note ko lang, yung pwede lang i-promulgate or yung pwede lang i-promulgate na accounting and auditing rules ni COA is yung pertaining lang sa public sector or government. Yung mga accounting auditing rules for business entities, hindi na siya scope or hindi na siya sakop ng exclusive authority ni COA. So, ano ba promulgate? Ano ba meaning ng promulgate? Accounting and auditing rules and regulations. So, meaning lang nun, si COA, pwede siya mag-set ng accounting and audit rules and regulations. So, pwede siya mag-set ng accounting rules kung paano i-account yung account na to or paano ba ipapresent yung FS. Pwede rin silang mag-set ng auditing rules kung paano nila i-audit yung isang government agency. Next. So, si COA, they have the responsibility to keep the general accounts of the government, supporting vouchers and other documents. So, yung general accounts, ito yung general ledger na pinapasok sa TV o trial balance. So, si COA, isa sa responsibility nila is i-keep yung mga general accounts of the government. Kasi, yung ending balance na yun, i-consolidate nila, tapos gagawa sila ng 3 report. Yung 3 report ito is, first is para sa national, second is para sa local, and third is yung para sa GOCCs o yung mga government-owned control corporations. So, bukod sa gumagawa silang report, they also keep all the supporting documents and vouchers. So, sila yung tatabi ng mga resibo, ng mga vouchers, or mga contracts, or any supports ng mga transactions. So, si COA, kinikip nila yung mga documents na to for 10 years. So, after 10 years, pwede na silang i-dispose. So, ano ba meaning ng i-dispose? Sabihin, i-shred. Hindi, kaya siya sinishred kasi nga para maiwasan na magamit ulit yung mga documents na yun. Siyempre kasi, pag kunyari, buo pa rin. Kunyari, itinapon lang sa basurahan. E de, may pwede siyang manakaw ng iba, tapos gagamitin siyang ulit. Ganun. Na, nagbenta po kami ng, bumili pa kami ng property, ito po yung resibo. Pero yung pala, wala naman talagang biniling property. So, kaya sinishred siya. Pero note ko lang, pwede lang i-dispose ni COA yung mga documents na yon kapag may approval ng National Archive. So, National Archive, government agency na nag-monitor ng mga documents. Next, COA has the responsibility to submit financial reports to the President and Congress. So, they submit yung financial reports, sinasabit nila sa President and Congress. Di ba sinasabit nila yun sa President and Congress? And yung last day submission is September 30 of the subsequent year. So, meaning, kunwari, yung financial report is for year 2021, yung last day of submission niya will be on September 30, 2022. So next office is yung Department of Budget and Management. So yung responsibility ni DBM is they are responsible for the formulation and implementation of the national budget with the goal of attaining the nation's socio-economic objectives. So DBM, sila yung sasabi kung magkano yung budget or kailangan for that year. Tapos, DBM, sila din yung nagsiset ng goals and prioritization of projects. So, parang sila, ipa-priority nila kung anong project ba o program yung dapat pagkagastusan muna. Ganun. Next na office is yung Bureau of Treasury o BTR. So, yung responsibility ni BTR is they're authorized to receive and keep national funds and manage and control the disbursement thereof. Second, they are also authorized to maintain accounts of financial transactions of all national government offices, agencies, and instrumentalities. So, pagdating nga, di ba, Treasury. So, meaning, they have the custody ng cash and they also control the disbursements. So, sila din yung umuutang para sa government natin in case nga na kailangan natin umutang for additional funds. So, paano ba umuutang yung BTR? So, isa nga sa way ng pag-utang nila is by issuing treasury bills and bonds. So, kasi pag nag-release sila ng treasury and bonds, tapos may bumili or nag-avail nun, investment siya sa part ng bumili or nag-avail, pero liability siya or loan siya sa part ni government. Tapos, note ko lang, si Bureau of Treasury lang yung pwede mag-issue ng treasury bills or bonds. And it is backed up by government funds. Kaya nga, di ba, yung mga treasury bills na yan, di ba, sila ay zero risk. Kasi nga, backed up by government funds. So, kahit anong mangyari, malugi na lahat ng kumpanya sa Pilipinas. Yung treasury bill mo, sure na mababayaran pa rin. Kasi nga, back up siya ng government. Next is yung government agencies. So, yung government agencies, they are responsible indirectly implementing the projects of and performing the functions delegated by the government. So, they're also responsible to maintain accounting books and budget registries. And they are required by law to have accounting units, divisions, or departments. So, itong government agencies, di ba nga, nasabi sa utilization ng funds is yung disbursed expenditures for projects or programs. So, yung mag-i-implement nun is yung government agencies. Sila din kasi yung nagsasabi ng mga projects and programs, mga ganun. Tapos, dahil nga sila yung parang nag-i-implement ng mga projects, so sila talaga mostly yung nakikipag-transact. So, dahil sila yung nakikipag-transact, sila talaga sila yung gumagawa ng report. And kapag gagawa sila ng report, kailangan nila mag-maintain ng dalawang books, which is yung accounting books and yung budget registries. So, note ko lang, sa government agency, dalawa yung mini-maintain nga na book. Pero pagdating sa business entity, isa lang. Ang mini-maintain lang nila is accounting books. So, tandaan nyo, pagdating sa government agency, dalawa yung book na mini-maintain nila. Accounting books and yung budget registries. So next, ano ba yung accounting system or accounting manual na ginagamit sa government accounting? So yung ginagamit natin is Government Accounting Manual for National Government Agencies or GAM for NGAs. So yung GAM for NGAs is promulgated by Commission on Audit. Diba nga, sabi ko kanina, yung Commission on Audit meron silang exclusive right mag-promulgate ng accounting auditing rules. So, ito yung si COA, ginawa nila yung GAM for NGAs para palitan yung ginagamit nilang accounting system, which is yung new government accounting system. And pinalitan siya noong January 1, 2016. So, yung pinalitan niya is yung NGAS nga. So, yung NGAS was effective or it was effective on the year 2002. So, for year 2002 to 2015, ang ginagamit na accounting system or accounting manual ng government natin is NGAS or New Government Accounting System. Ma'am, bakit po naisipan pa nilang palitan yung NGAS? Ang tagal na pala nilang ginagamit from 2002 to 2015. So, baka noong 2016, bigla nilang pinalitan yung accounting system na gagamit nila. So, kaya nila pinalitan yun kasi yung NGAS hindi siya naka-align sa standards, sa mga accounting standards. So, nung time na ginagamit pa nila yung NGAS, may sariling accounting standard na ginagamit yung COA sa pag-account nga ng mga transactions ng government agencies. So, parang 2016, na-realize nila na mas maganda na parang naka-align siya sa standard para nga mas consistent and parang naka-conform sa lahat. So, yung GAMPR NGAs, it was promulgated primarily to harmonize the government accounting standards with international accounting standards, particularly International Public Sector Accounting Standards or IPSAS. So note ko lang, yung IPSAS is based from IFRS. Ma'am, based man pala sa IFRS. So, bakit hindi na lang sa IFRS mismo mag-i-align yung GAM for NGAs ba sa IPSAS pa? So, first na reason is yung IPSAS kasi is nakapertain lang talaga siya sa public sector. While yung IFRS kasi, ang cover niya is yung mga private entities o yung mga business entities. So, di ba mapapansin nyo din na mabilis magbago yung standard natin, di ba? Parang yung standard policies, ano pa siya dati, PAS 17, naging PFRS 16. Kasi nga, may mga transactions, may mga events nga na hindi na-address sa PAS 17 pero ina-address na sa IFRS 16. So, nagbabago yung IFRS based sa economic events na nag-arise. So, everyday kasi, parang may mga economic events na parang mag-arise sa bawat companies o sa mga bawat business entities. So, kaya dapat baguhin, kaya nila binabago para ma-address yung mga economic events na yun, kung paano siya i-record, paano yung accounting niya, so saan account siya dapat papasok, mga ganun. So, sa public sector kasi, hindi yung transaction nila is hindi ganun karami unlike sa business entities. Kasi nga, ang transaction lang naman ng parang yung business entities kasi marami silang industry. So, di ba may financial service, merong sa manufacturing, gano'n. Pero yung public sector, walang gano'n. Parang yung public sector kasi, yung transactions nila is nakadepende sa programs or projects na ini-implement nila. Kaya mas maganda na sa IPSAS sila naka-align kasi yung IPSAS nga is ano talaga siya, parang naka-confirm siya sa mga transactions na nangyayari sa public sector. O yung flow niya, yung flow ng transactions is for public sector. Tapos, may isa pang reason pero i-explain ko siya sa next slide. So, yung IPSAS, ito rin yung ginagamit na accounting standards ng mga government agencies internationally, especially yung SAI. So, ano ba yung SAI? So, ito yung SAI is yung ano meaning ng SAI? Wala akong meaning. So, parang sila ay wait. And sorry for that. So, yung meaning ng SAI is Supreme Audit Institution. So, itong, yung SAI na to, ito yung public bodies na responsible for the audit of government revenue. So, next. Is yung coverage ng, ano ba yung coverage ng GAM for NGAs? So, yung first coverage niya is yung preparing general purpose financial statements in accordance with the Philippine Public Sector Accounting Standards or PPSAS and other financial reports as may be required by laws, rules, and regulations. So, itong PPSAS, same lang naman siya sa IPSAS. So, parang ito lang yung parang Philippine adaptation, ganun. Di ba pag nag-a-adapt yung Philippines, di man nila binabago yung mismong standard. Binabago lang naman nila is yung name lang. So, from international, ginagawa nilang Philippines. Tapos, note ko lang din, yung PPSAS, applicable siya sa lahat ng national government agencies, lahat ng LGUs, and pati sa mga GOCCs na not considered as GBE or Government Business Enterprise. So, ano ba characteristic ng isang GBE? So, yung GBE, ito yung mga entities na may power to contract by using their own name. Tapos, there are also entities that are assigned the financial and operation authority to carry on in a business. There are also entities that sell goods and services in the normal course of its business to other entities at a profit or full cost recovery. They're also not reliant on continuing government funding to be a going concern. And lastly, they are entities controlled by a public sector entity. In addition, GBS also includes banks and non-bank financial institutions under the supervision of the BSP and entities registered with the SEC. So, ano siya? Government-owned siya, pero para siyang business entity. So, dahil nga para siyang business entity, mas appropriate na gamitin yung Philippine International Convention Center. So next, isa pang coverage is yung reporting of budget, revenue, and expenditure in accordance with laws, rules, and regulations. So sabi ko nga kanina, di ba isa sa reason kung bakit IPSAS yung ginagamit is sa IPSAS kasi, meron daw standard na pertaining sa budget. Di ba sa IFRS, walang standard na pertaining sa budget. Wala naman kayo napag-aralan sa FAR nyo, di ba? Or kahit FAR na relating sa budget. So, mapapag-aralan nyo naman yung budget sa MAS lang. Yung MAS naman is walang sinusunod na standard. So, Sa ISIS kasi may pertaining nga na may pertaining na standard about sa budget. Kasi nga, yung mga public sector o yung mga government agencies is ina-account nila yung budget. Di ba, remember kanina sinabi ko na yung responsible na government agency is dalawa. Isa sa mga responsibility nila is to maintain two books, accounting books and yung budget registries. Kasi nga, ina-account nila yung budget. And kapag ina-account nga nila yung budget, then syempre, kailangan nilang gumawa ng financial report pertaining sa budget na yun. So, ito yung reason kung bakit anim yung components ng financial statement or components ng general purpose financial statement ng isang government agency. So, di ba, usually sa business entity, 5 lang yung components. So, ano yung 5 na yun? So, statement of financial position, statement of financial performance, statement of changes in net assets or equity, statement of cash flows, and yung notes to the financial statements. Pero pagdating sa government agency, bukod sa 5 na yun, merong isa pang additional na financial statement or financial report, which is yung statement of comparison of budget and actual amounts. So, itong statement of comparison of budget and actual amounts, dito makikita yung mga budget information. So, yung mga ina-account nila or nire-record nila sa budget registries is magre-reflect dito sa financial statement na to. So, next, ano yung objective ng GAP per NGA? So, yung objective niya is it aims to update the following. So, first, yung standards, policies, guidelines, and procedures in accounting for government funds and property. Second is coding structure and accounts. Third is yung accounting books, registries, records, forms, reports, and financial statements. So, di ba mapapansin nyo, tatlo yung sinabi dito, tatlong bullet. So, kaya sa tatlong bullet, kasi ito rin yung tatlong volume ng GAM per NGA. So, if titignan niyo yung website ng COA, makikita niyo dun yung tatlong volume ng GAM per NGAs. And yung volume 1, naka-pertain siya sa standards, policies, guidelines, and procedures in accounting for government funds and properties. While yung volume 2 naman, naka-pertain siya sa accounting books, registries, records, form, reports, and financial statements. And last naman, yung volume 3 is about siya sa coding structure and accounts. Kung ano ba yung coding structure and accounts? So, ito yung RCA o yung revised chart of accounts. So, yung revised chart of accounts, parang ano na siya, summary or list ng lahat ng accounts na ginagamit sa government. So, parang ano nga siya, basis or guide na if ever na kunyari, meron transaction tapos di mo alam kung saan siya i-account, is pwede mo tingnan yung RCA para malaman kung ano yung appropriate account na dapat gamitin para i-record yung transaction na yun. O kaya, naka-encounter tayo ng unfamiliar na transaction na account, rather. And di natin alam kung paano ba siya, di natin alam kung asset ba siya, liability, or equity, then malalaman din natin yun kapag tingnan natin yung revised chart of accounts. Kasi yung RCA, naka-indicate dun yung account code, account name, and pati yung description o yung nature ng accounts. And yung account code is malalaman mo kung asset ba siya or liability, ganun. Kasi may indicator siya. Kapag yung account code, yung first number niya is 1, then it is an asset account. Pag naman 2, yung start ng account code, then it is a liability account. Kapag naman 3, then yung account na yon is an equity account. Pag naman 4 nag-start yung account code, then income account, and pag 5, isa siyang expense account. So, para lang mas maalala natin or mas ma-observe natin, papakita ko sa inyo yung RCA. Pero punta muna tayo sa wait lang. Share ko muna yung COA. Yung website ng COA. So, di ba, ito yung website ng COA. Makikita nyo nga, itong GAMPAR NGAs and ito yung tatlo niyang volume. So, like I said, di ba, yung parang objective is to update the following. Yung tatlo na yun is ito, same lang siya sa volume ng GAMPAR NGAs. So, if interested, curious kayo, gusto nyo basahin yung GAMP, then, i-visit nyo lang yung website ng COA. Next is yung, papakita ko is yung RCA. Yung RCA, yun. So, di ba, makikita nyo yung list of accounts. Ito yun. Di ba, lahat ng accounts na ginagamit sa government, nakalagay dito. So, mapapansin nyo nga, di ba, itong account code nag-start sa 1. So, meaning, asset account siya. Tapos, pag nag-start siya sa 2, meaning, liability account siya. Pag nag-start sa 3, meaning, equity account. Pag naman nag-start sa 4, then revenue account siya. And pag nag-start sa 5, yan, wait lang, sabihin ako simula. Yun, pag nag-start sa 5, then expense account siya. Tapos, ito rin yung, ito yun, di ba? Makikita niyo yung account title, which is cash in bank, foreign currency savings account. So, makikita niyo yung number, yung account number. Nag-start sa 1, meaning asset account. Makikita din kung ano yung normal balance ng account yun, which is debit. And then, mabasa mo rin dito yung description. So, parang ito yung nature ng account na to. So, parang lahat ng transaction pertain, kapag ginagamit nga yung account kapag nag-recognize ng foreign account, foreign currency deposits of agency implementing foreign assistance projects. So, para lang sa pag merong transactions relating sa foreign assistance projects, tapos merong foreign currency, parang nag-deposit nga na in foreign currency, then papasok siya o i-record siya sa cash in bank foreign currency savings account. So, parang if ever nga malito ka, or isa kang accountant ng government and nalilito ka, pwede mo tingnan yung RCA. Balik tayo. So, next is yung accounting and budget reporting principles. So, yung accounting and budget reporting principles, sabi, it must comply with PPSAS and laws, rules, and regulations. Kasi nga, di ba nga, kaya nga ginawa yung GAMPAR NGAs is para ma-align, di ba, sa standards. So, dapat nakakomply tayo sa PPSAS. And di lang sa PPSAS, kundi pa rin na sa mga rules and regulations na ini-implement ni COA. Next is, it must comply with accrual basis accounting. So, sa government accounting, we use accrual basis. So, alam ko, sobrang familiar na kayo sa accrual basis. Since first year pa lang, or introduction pa lang ng accounting is pinag-aaralan na yung accrual basis. So, accrual basis meaning we only record revenue when it's earned and we record expenses when it is incurred. Tapos, it must be budget basis. Third, it must comply with revised chart of accounts prescribed by COA, which is discuss ko kanina. Next is it must comply with double entry bookkeeping, meaning kapag nag-record tayo ng debit, kailangan mag-record din tayo ng corresponding credit. Next is yung FS, financial statement based on accounting and budgetary records. And last is yung fund cluster accounting. So, focus tayo sa fund cluster accounting. So, ano ba yung concept ng fund cluster accounting? So, ang concept lang naman nun is parang nagre-record tayo ng transactions or gumagawa tayo ng financial reports. Gagawa tayo ng financial reports depende sa funds na ina-account natin. So, meaning, kunwari sa isang government agency, mayroong 4 na funds na mini-maintain. So, bawat funds na yun, nagme-maintain sila, may separate accounting books and registries, budget registries yung bawat fund na yun. And, dahil nga may separate silang accounting books and budget registries, may kanya-kanya din silang financial report or financial statement. So, if meron kang apat na funds, so dapat apat na FS package yung gagawin mo. So, basic GAM for NGAs, nag-indicate nga sila, nag-indicate ng 7 funds. So, first is regular agency fund. Second is foreign assistance project funds. Third is special account locally funded or domestic grants fund. Fourth is special account foreign assisted foreign grants fund. Next is internally generated funds. 6, business-related funds. And last is interest receipts. And bawat yung funds na yan, may corresponding code. So, note ko lang, di ba, bago mag-GAM for NGAs, ang gagamit na accounting system is NGAS. And sa NGAS, walang fund cluster accounting. So, hindi naka-cluster or hindi naka-group yung mga funds. So, sa NGAS, ang gagamit nun is parang one fund concept. Meaning, lahat ng government funds papasok lang sa lahat ng government funds or government resources papasok lang sa isang fund. So, irregardless kung saan naka-pertain yung kung saan naka-pertain yung funds na yun. Kung ito bang parang kung isang fund ba ito ay kung isang fund is naka-pertain sa ganitong transaction, sa isang fund naka-pertain sa isang transaction. So, wala silang pakialam. Basta yung lahat ng funds na yun, i-record siya sa isang accounting record, sa isang budget registries. And gagawan siya ng isang financial statement lang o isang FS package. So, pagdating sa GAM for NGAs nga, ginawa na, nakapankasan siya o parang ginroup yung mga funds. Kasi yung isang fund, syempre, iba yung purpose niya or iba yung pinagagamitin niya sa isa pang fund. So, para mas may present na mabuti or mas makita yung parang mas may pakita nga yung progress ng bawat funds na yon, ginawa nila, kinlasan nila yon, and may sarili-sarili silang accounting legacy budgets and may sarili-sarili silang financial statements. So, parang makita kung itong fund na pala nito, ganito pala yung parang yung progress niya. So, okay naman, maganda. Parang may income naman sa itong fund. Itong fund na to, parang hindi maganda yung income, parang nagkakalos tayo sa ganitong fund. Diba? Parang mas nag-present na lang mabuti. And bukod sa mas detailed is mas madali na siyang parang mas madaling makagawa ng decision. Kasi nga, nakikita mo yung bawat progress, yung parang financial performance, yung financial position ng bawat funds. So, actually, yun na yung last na topic under chapter 1. So, before I end this discussion, gusto ko lang i-remind sa inyo yung pinaka-main concept ng government accounting. So, yung main concept niya is government resources must be utilized efficiently and effectively in accordance with the law. So, always remember na kaya ginawa yung government accounting is para nga yung government resources natin is ma-utilize siya na efficiently and effectively in accordance with the law. So, that ends our discussion for chapter 1. So, para matest matest natin, yung knowledge nyo, kung may napag-aralan kayo, nag-post ako ng parang assignment na sasagutan nyo. So, sasagutan nyo lang naman yun. That is 10 items lang naman para lang matest yung knowledge nyo regarding kung may, parang kung may natutunan ba talaga kayo sa discussion.